Well, many of these things, as was pointed out in the press conference this morning, are frankly common sense. But it is a question of stating the obvious sometimes. The first one has to be transparency and accountability. And I'll explain this before I move on to the others. Some of the key problems we identified here was that what was really happening at the coalface within the world-class programme at various levels was not transparent and clear to those who should have been exercising an overview of it, meaning the board and UK Sport. And that meant that people operated without a sense of having to be accountable as to all their actions beyond simply producing medal winners. So that's point one. I think point two is something more within the programme, which has to be communication. This was a programme which had built itself up incredibly quickly to an incredibly successful level, really within, when 1997 it began, by 2008, so 11 years later, it was dominating the world. And with that, it comes great evolution. And what didn't keep up were communication skills. I can understand the pressures, but taking into account what the athletes were feeling all the time, taking into account what the staff were feeling all the time, was again somewhat secondary to keep on driving this juggernaut onwards. So that's number two. And then number three, I think I'm going to sort of take a more global view, which is, what does no compromise mean? UK Sport have always said that no compromise doesn't mean medal at all costs. But I think they need to be careful, and sport, which has been incredibly successful within the UK, needs to be careful that we are not simply chasing the medal, but we are chasing the pathway to that medal. Because if you get that pathway right, then medals continue in the future, even if funding isn't necessarily always at the same level. So I think that is part of a wider debate, or part of the duty of care debate. But I'm going to leave no compromise on the table, because of course it's been interpreted so many different ways, and there is a nice way of interpreting it, which is exactly what it was meant to be. And then it has become something else for certain people. So I'm just going to leave that on the table, because we'll see what that means in a few years' time. But hopefully this report will have helped it get back to where it was meant to be.